Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to another Caster Chronicles video. This one I'm going to be going over the spoilers, essentially the entire revealed starter deck for Caster Chronicles. This is the one that's going to be coming out with the new set. It's called the New World Order Admissions. It's a band-based deck, so it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for it. So I'm going to be going over all the cards and the quantities that there will be inside of the starter deck and different things like that. Before I get started, just so you know, the promo card coming with this is a caster. It's Xian, like actually from Force of Will Xian, which is pretty cool. And her effect is you can tap her to put the card from the bottom of your deck on top of your deck. So that's cool that her effect is still in line with the Force of Will Xian. So that's just really cool. And it makes sense because she sings, which goes with the band theme that we have going on there. So it's a cool little intro going into here. So going into it, this isn't in any particular order, it's just what I have on here, so bear with me. So first up we have Emmy Shart. So it's a level 1 caster. You get to tap her to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and then put them back in any order. So fixing the top of your deck, that's really cool. It's actually a pretty good ability. She's blue as well. Emmy comes with 2 inside of the deck. And yeah, so the next one is Colin. So another level 1 caster. She's darkness. You can tap her and target allied band gains hubris till end of turn. So it has to have the band as the typing for the servant. And hubris, means you get to corrupt orbs even if someone has a reverse position servant. So Corona also has 2 inside of the deck. Next is a Conjure, so popularity contest. It's a 1-cost blue Conjure, Earnest. It has United Front Idol, so it means you can pay the Aqua Ether cost of this card with the ether of any element produced by an idol caster, as long as it has that idol subtype. So just keep that in mind as we go forward whenever I say that. I'm not entirely sure what United Front is. I don't think it's explained it yet, or if it's just something that goes in conjunction. So if it says United Front and then the subtype, in this case idol, then you pay the ether cost with anything that subtype says. So in other things we might see United Front blankety blank, and whatever that blankety blank is, you pay it with any ether cost, is what I assume. Don't know for sure though, but it's you search your deck for an idol, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So that's really good. Being able to just have a 1-cost search your deck for anything is I think extremely strong. This one comes with a full playset inside of the deck. Next we have our first servant, Asami. It's a 3-cost orange with 1,000 attack and 3,000 defense. It's banned and earnest, has United Front Idol. So once again, I assume that means you can pay it with any cost as long as you're being paid with idol. Has DCT. DCT means if you have a certain amount of cards that have that earnest subtype that both the Conjure before and this card have inside of your graveyard, then it unlocks that ability essentially. So if you have 2 cards with earnest, then it gains break. If you have 3 cards with earnest, then it also gains 2,000 attack. So if you have 3 cards with earnest and it's in your orb zone, it gets to break, and it suddenly is a 3,000 on top of that. Or it could just be 3 cost 3,000, which is also extremely good, that you can pay with any ether from idols. Next we have another servant. It is, I should be mentioning that these servants are idle and earnest. You can see that in the bottom left corner. Before I forget, Asami comes with a full playset. Marigold is a level 1 caster, orange as well. You tap her to put the top card of your deck into an allied graveyard. If it's a banned, draw a card. So not only is there a possibility of drawing a card when you mill that top card of your deck, but the idea is to get more banned and earnest cards into your graveyard to unlock all of those DCT abilities. And Marigold you have 2 of as well. Next is Sexy Song. So this is a 4-cost Conjure. This one's pink this time around, but it's earnest as well. United Front Idol, once again. And you can destroy up to 1 target enemy servant with a cost of 4 or less. So that alone is pretty good. We have a 5-cost destroy in the game, however it has break. But 4-cost is still pretty good, especially since you can pay it with any idol casters that you want. But it also has DCT of 7, so if you have 7 cards in your graveyard, instead of destroying an enemy servant, you just gain control of every single enemy servant instead. So that is potentially extremely strong. So I actually really like that. I don't know how consistent you can get stuff into the graveyard, how high you can get that. I know there's other cards in the game that help mill, so that could be a possibility to be able to get that number pretty high pretty quick. And there are 3 of this card inside of the starter deck. Next we have Challenge. This is a 1-cost red conjure with Earnest, United Front Idol again, and its target allied servant gains 2,000 attack till end of turn. So that alone is actually a pretty good card for 1 cost, giving it plus 2,000 attack. Doesn't have quick cast, unfortunately, so it's not, you don't have the surprise factor, but it does allow you to get some through certain servants that might be in reverse position, or just bruise down and kill some servants that you might want to get rid of. It also has DCT of 7, so if you unlock that 7, suddenly it replaces the 2,000 attack until end of turn, and instead allied servant gets 4,000 attack until end of turn and double corrupt. So you actually get a choice of either pretty much for sure killing something or getting that double corrupt. If you don't need to kill anything, it has that versatile effect late game, which is really nice. And Challenge, it has a full play set of 4 in the deck as well. Next is Tomomi. It's a 4-cost pink servant with 3,000 attack and 200 defense. Obviously it's a banned in Earnest as well. United Front Idol has DCT of 5 and it gives it break, and DCT of 7. You gain control of target servant with total cost 3 or less if this card was put into the field without being played from hand. So you have to play it from the graveyard, or I guess that would be the only way, graveyard, or if the break effect happens, then you get the DCT of 7 effect. Otherwise, it's just a 4-cost 3,000, 2,000, which isn't terrible. But yeah, definitely would run it in the deck because you want to populate your deck with these banned cards just to put into your graveyard, and there's possibility of hitting that break as well. And this one there's 2 of inside of the deck. Next we have another caster. It's a green one, Leaf, Idle Earnest obviously. Tap ability, discard a caster, target enemy servant gains slow start until end of turn. So that's cool because slow start would help obviously slow your enemy down, but also gives you the ability to mill your hand into the graveyard to get those DCT effects, which could prove to be extremely useful if for nothing else than that one that gains control of all enemy servants. That alone is definitely worth it. And this one there is 2 of inside of the deck. Next we have Maria I. So this is a level 2 caster, Idle and Earnest. We haven't gotten to the level 1 caster I don't think of yet, so my bad. But tap ability is banish another Maria I. Search your deck for a band with total cost equal to or less than the total amount of Earnest cards in an allied graveyard and put it into the field, then shuffle your deck. So if you have 7 cards in your graveyard that are bans, then you can get a 7-cost servant potentially. I mean, you probably wouldn't, but you know, that's a really good effect, I think. Being able to play something from your graveyard into the field, you could grab that card that can only get the second DCT effect if it was not played from hand. Suddenly you have at minimum 2 ways of playing that card now without playing it from hand. So that's really awesome. This card is 2 of inside of the deck as well. We have a level 1 caster, Pulitzer Lotta. Tap, discard a caster, draw a card. Once again, that's a great ability actually inside of this deck because once again, populating the graveyard and getting a draw effect on top of that. And on top of that, maybe your top of your deck is already fixed because you changed the top 3 of your cards with the other caster, so you're able to basically decide what you pull and different things like that. So I think that's really awesome. And once again, 2 of inside the deck. Next we have Patzer Olga. It's a 1-cost caster red. Target allied band gains 1,000 attack till end of turn is her tap ability. So that's just always a good vanilla thing to have with a caster, I think. And obviously this one you run 2 of inside of your deck. Next is Nan. So this is a 4-cost yellow servant. 2,000, 3,000. United Front Idol obviously. Has DCT of 5, which gives it break. And also has DCT of 7, which gives it the enter ability where you get to draw 2 cards. So potentially you could have a break where you draw 2 cards, or you pay 4 for 2,000, 3,000. That lets you draw 2 cards potentially. So once again, that's really good, I think, to have a strong. It's just good to have that type of card or banned cards to populate your graveyard, regardless of whether they're super great or not. But I think this one's pretty good. And there's 2 of this inside the deck. We have May, which is a 2-cost servant. As a United Front and Idol, obviously, has DCT of 3, which gives it break, and DCT of 7, which gives it 3,000 attack. So potentially you could have a 2 cost 4,000, 1,000. And yeah, that would be really awesome. It's really cool artwork. I actually really like the look of this one. Nice to have some punk rock in here. Next we have Haru, which is a 1 cost servant, green, with 500 attack. Knight Friend and Idol. DCT of 3 is this card gains plus 1,000 attack. So potentially a 1 cost 1,500 attack resonator or servant, which is pretty awesome, I think. And this one runs 4 of inside the deck. Next is Arena. This is a pretty cool looking card. It's a 5 cost servant, purple, 4,000, 1,000, and a DCT of 7. And if you have 7, it gains 3,000 attack and defense, hubris, double corrupt, and the enter effect of destroy target enemy servant. So it's potentially a 7,000, 4,000 hubris, double corrupt, destroy 5 cost card, which would be insane if you can get that 7 DCT. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how easy that's going to be, but I think it's not going to be too hard. This one they ran 3 of inside of the deck. Next is Maria I, the level 1 caster we talked about earlier. Its tap ability is draw a card if an idol not named Maria I played an ability this turn. So you have to tap something else, and then you can tap her and just straight up draw a card, which is pretty awesome, I think. And this one, they run a full 4 of these inside of the deck. So that's the first caster. That's more than 2, actually. And lastly is Reina. It's a 2 cost servant, blue with 1,000 attack, 1,000 defense. It has DCT of 3, and that gives it break. And then DCT of 7, where it gains 3,000 defense. So pretty, vanilla card, but not bad for 2 cost. Once again, I think that works pretty well inside the deck. They ran 3 of it inside there. So yeah. That's about everything for the starter deck, so I'm pretty excited for it. I really like these sort of really synergetic decks, and it seems to really everything works well with each other and all that. So I'm pretty excited for this. I'll be getting a box and playing with it. I'm going to try and see if I can get a proxy of this deck out for you guys so we can see some gameplay and how it actually works in real life. And yeah, so stay tuned for my normal spoiler videos for the normal spoilers. I'll get caught up with that, and we'll see you guys next time.